Hello and welcome back to the Spoilercast. Oh, I ruined the music. Well, only for you live listeners. The music will be fine on Spotify and all that, so that's cool. Anyway, welcome back to the Spoilercast, the podcast where we talk about movies, new and old, and we don't care about spoiling them because it's the
It's
Spoilercast.
Spoilercast.
Yeah. My name is Tobias. I run this whole thing. I started the whole thing. And with me, as always, is my sister and trusty co host, Rebecca.
Hello.
Hello. And this episode it was your choice to pick.
Oh, technically.
I don't know the actual order anymore, but
Nah.
I think it was your choice. I mean, it was your choice, but I think it was your time to pick.
We did have an interlude where someone else got the pick for us, so
Exactly.
kind of messed up the rhythm there.
Yeah, but it's the Patreon pick, so
Yeah.
we
Gotta
we
make
gotta
way for that.
exactly. And if you wanna pick what movies we talk about in the future, just join our Patreon, and at the $3 level, you get not only the choice, to pick what we talk about, but you also get a weekly exclusive podcast where we talk about we talk about movies because that's what we do. It's a little more relaxed conversation, even though these
And
are kind of relaxed as well. But
sometimes it's a continuation of what we talk about here on the YouTube episode or the
yes,
free episode.
it's usually that. So if you find this conversation interesting, you'll probably find that conversation interesting.
Yes.
But you can, of course, support us for as little as $1 a month just for bragging rights, and it also helps us a lot to keep the podcast going and the YouTube going and everything going, really.
Or you
Or
could just support us by watching this here,
yeah,
liking it here, or on any of the other podcast platforms we're on, iTunes, Podbean, Spotify, all that.
iHeartRadio, Stitcher, all of them
All
almost.
those places.
Google Podcasts, whatever that is. I don't think people use
Yes.
that, but still, we're on there. Yeah, so just listen to us there or subscribe to the YouTube channel. Any way you can help us is greatly appreciated. But let's get on with the show. That was a pretty brief intro. We never do that. That's pretty
For
good.
once.
Well, the movie we're talking about this week or this episode is the fairly new. Well, I mean, it's like a week or two old at this point.
Something like that.
Yeah, the fairly new Netflix movie Malcolm and Marie. And since it was your pick, how about you tell us? Well, first, why did you wanna watch this one?
Because I've heard so much about it. When you look at what like normal people, I'm considering us to be somewhere in between here now, but normal people is saying that it's a really good movie, and then you hear critics and they're kind of meh about it. They're not that happy.
Okay, yeah, and
And
that's we'll
I
go
mean, the
we'll get
trailer
into
looks
why I think that
interesting.
is. But what
The
did you say?
trailer is interesting, and the images you've seen are interesting, and the premise is kind of interesting, to be honest.
Yeah,
Not that the IMDb synopsis is very good,
I mean,
because it says nothing about the movie.
no, but I mean, the movie it's basically however you want to see it. It's one or a series of conversations. It's all it is.
I'd say it's one long conversation. They kind of come back to it technically.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, they do constantly come back to that one
One
the
thing.
first thing, yeah, that sets it off really.
Yeah.
But yeah, what the movie is really about, or not what it's really about, but what the premise is, it's John David Washington plays Malcolm, who has
A movie director.
movie director, and he has just made his like first big movie, I think.
Yes.
And they were at the red carpet premiere, the big premiere with all the stars and the critics and all that. And
All the glitz and glam.
yes, and they arrive home at the house that they live in at this. It's not their house.
No,
They mentioned
they
that the
being
studio
the director and his girlfriend Marie,
Marie. Yeah,
sorry, played by Zendaya.
yeah,
Um, and they rented the house for the time being, I guess, because
exactly.
they're out in, I think they say Malibu, just for like the premiere and stuff.
Yeah. And yeah, I
The
mean,
aftermath, basically, of what that whole thing is. Like the the big thing about releasing a movie, having a big premiere, and then the aftermath of actually working on a movie as a couple, I guess.
yeah,
Well, she didn't
or
really work at the
no,
with the movie, but
exactly,
you
and
know,
that's kind of what the discussion is
yeah.
about. Um, because it starts with her being she's obviously annoyed when they come home. I don't know.
Yeah, she's not happy.
She's not happy.
Something's bothering her. I mean, you could kind of, like she says first, I'm hungry, I haven't eaten all day. She could be just cranky because it's like 1 o'clock at night. She hasn't eaten. She's been in high heels and a
Mm.
tight dress. She could just be like
But
tired.
yeah, but
But we do realize that
yeah,
no,
she
that's
wouldn't
not it.
say I don't want to talk about it then because
Well,
in my limited experience with women, when they say I don't want to talk about it, it's something you should probably talk about.
yes, but she also says nothing good is gonna come out of us talking about this tonight, which she is very much true, right about. They could have just like, okay, let's talk about
Yeah,
this tomorrow.
well,
Just eat, go to bed, and talk about it tomorrow.
yeah, and the
But
whole
he's all amped up. Of course, he can't go to bed.
yeah that and it's also like what it really like what sets it off is the fact that he didn't thank her in his like big
Yes,
thank you speech, I guess before or after the movie.
before apparently,
Yeah, yeah. um
which is
I mean
odd,
at
I
at
think, but
this
maybe.
at this
Yeah,
premiere. But I guess she's also they're not really clear about it, but she's also like left out of the credits as a thank you for some reason. Um and
yeah. I don't think he thanks her at all for the movie,
yeah.
which she finds weird because according to how she sees it, probably something. I mean, he must have mentioned it along the way, but the main character is loosely based on her
Mm,
or
yes.
parts of her life, I guess.
Yeah. And the movie is just yeah, it's their argument on back and forth on why she thinks he should have thanked her, and why he why he didn't thank her basically. But I mean that comes
Yeah.
later. It starts with him trying to like um, what is it? Not beg forgiveness. What's it called? Well, I guess yeah,
I'm not, yeah, beg for forgiveness,
beg
sort
for
of.
forgiveness. Yeah, but it
But
sounds
like
so
at
sounds so
least
drastic. But
make her happy again, sort of thing.
yeah, but then like any argument in the middle of the night,
It amps up.
it amps up, it erupts, and they start arguing about everything. But
Yeah.
it always comes back to that core argument that
Yeah, because
she
that's
wasn't
the
thanked in the credits.
that's the what's it called? The straw that broke the camel's back.
Yes, yes,
If she
and
hadn't been annoyed about that thing, then none of this would have happened. So
yeah,
not tonight, at least.
yeah. And at first, I kind of watched it. I had no intentions of watching it at first. Or let me just sorry, let's just do this like we usually do it. Cause what did you think of the movie?
I liked it a
Okay,
lot, actually.
okay,
I did as I always do. I try to watch it while I'm working.
yeah,
Never a good idea because usually I'm too focused on what I'm doing to focus on the movie. This
yeah,
case it was the opposite. I couldn't focus on my work. I was stuck watching the movie.
yeah.
So I kind of had to pause it and, watch when I could watch and
Mm-hmm.
not try to work at the same time because I just didn't work.
Yeah.
I just watched the movie instead, which isn't a good thing when you're working from home.
Yeah.
What
So
about you? What did you think?
I liked it quite a bit. I liked it a lot more than I thought I would.
Yeah.
And that is firstly because when I heard about it, I'm not a fan of Zendaya. I don't get the hype. I think the stuff I've seen her in so far, not counting Malcolm and Marie, she's been very one note, very boring.
What have you seen her in? Because I've only seen her in like two things,
She's in
and they're both
yeah,
Spider-Man.
okay, yeah, I saw her in the first Spider-Man movie, Homecoming, and I saw her in I think I saw 1 or 2 episodes of Euphoria before I started barfing and turned that off.
Oh yeah, that's true. I've seen a couple of episodes of
Yeah.
Euphoria.
Um But
But
she's like she's like a
she's a
old,
Disney star.
she's no Disney star, right? Or old. I mean, she used to be like a Disney kid.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
She
yeah.
and Bella Thorne had a
Oh, okay.
show where they were dancing and singing and stuff. But
Okay. I've never seen any of those, but I've seen
no.
the promos, the Disney Channel thing. I've seen promo.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck is that Zendaya? Because I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I've seen clips, like they come up on YouTube every now and then.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
the best
exactly.
of the show or whatever.
That's where I've seen her. And then I
Yeah,
know
probably.
she's got a bunch of stands, and I can't stand stands.
Oh well.
I don't like because standom is almost like one step above fandom. They're even worse than fandoms because they're
Yeah.
like sycophants. Like they're like
Yeah,
almost
they're
like
too
perversely, yeah, like attached to the star. And so I've seen a bunch of stuff on Twitter like, oh my god, Queen, and they're making like weird compilations of pictures of her and stuff. I was like, what are you?
I think
What
most
is
of
going
it's
on?
come from Euphoria, to be honest.
No,
But some of it, I mean, okay, we didn't have Disney Channel when we grew up,
no.
but
Well, no,
I mean, we didn't watch it.
no. We had Disney, like Disney Breakfast Club. No, that was when I was a kid.
Uh,
You probably never saw that.
if I saw a Disney Channel show, it was at my friend's house.
Yeah,
So
yeah. They had like
I
on
think,
Fridays they had a Disney show. We never had the
yeah,
channel. Yeah.
no, I think most people that we are that you're calling the stands are
Yeah.
American kids in our age ish that grew up with her on Disney Channel
Oh, okay. Yeah.
because she's done a lot of Disney Channel stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But then also she did some a lot of shorts and voiceovers
I always
in
thought she was a
cartoons.
model.
No, she's a triple threat though. She is a singer, actor, and dancer.
She's a singer. All right.
Yes, she can actually sing. I'm not gonna that
Yes,
the
that.
singing is
Well,
fine. Let's just not talk about that bit though, because I don't know much, but I've heard a few
yeah.
things, and she can sing. I mean,
Well, it makes
she sings
sense.
in The Greatest Showman and stuff like that.
Disney grooms their subjects very well. It's like
Yes, they usually do all three.
it's like with K-pop artists.
Yeah,
They're like turned into entertainment machines. Disney is
yes,
kind of the same when it comes to that because yeah, they can all sing, they can all act, and they're all like woohoo, super happy and good looking.
and some of them are really good at dancing.
Yeah, yeah, dancing. Yeah, exactly.
Not all of them though. You can't give them
Well,
all that. But then
and
the big roles that she's had, that is, I mean,
Spider-Man
it's
and
the
Euphoria.
Spider-Man in Euphoria.
Yeah, and I
But
did
she's a
not
bit
like
of a
her in
model as well,
Spider-Man.
I guess. Well, her character isn't very likable in
No,
Spider-Man,
and
so it's hard.
she's supposed to be Mary Jane. I was like, oh, okay. I
Well,
don't
yeah,
see the chemistry between them.
no, not really.
Anyway, and yeah, Euphoria. I guess I'm just an old man at this point because I was like, ugh, oh, you teenagers, get over yourself. Because not I wasn't there because their situations are very
Very
uh
not like what we have
no, they're
or
very
had.
not exaggerated, but they're very um amped up.
Yes,
Cause
and
it's a
very
TV show.
American
Very
in
American,
general.
yeah. But I mean, everyone's had the teen angst and
Yeah,
friends
sure.
who are doing drugs. It's like, and me
And
watching it as
sneaking
a
out to drinking and stuff.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Me
sure.
watching this as a 31-year-old, like, come on, get over yourself.
It's not
I couldn't
really
watch
made
it.
for you
No, I
though, so
know.
I mean,
So I'm not gonna judge it, but it was not for me. Anyway, so watching
me
this.
watching Euphoria was kind of like, yeah, I guess could could happen. I guess could be
Yeah.
cool. It's still a cool concept. It looks very.
Yeah, I mean
It's a very
it wasn't
familiar
terrible. I
show.
just couldn't stand some of the characters.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah, I
ugh,
guess.
you're 17. Fuck off.
Yeah.
That was basically
Well,
all I was saying over and over
that
again.
that was also one of the issues that people had with Malcolm and Marie, apparently, because she
Yes.
is pretty young and she's always played a teenager.
Yes.
This was her first grown-up role.
Yeah, I saw some on Twitter about that, and I tweeted about it myself. I mean, she's an adult.
She's 23, I
She's
think.
she's 25, I think. I think there's a 10-year gap between them two. He's 35 and she's 25. I thought so, at least.
Something like that.
Yeah, anyway.
12 years. She's
23.
23 and
Okay.
he's 35.
Still, doesn't matter. But I can definitely see why, because even for me, who knows that she's a grown ass person, it was still like, she played a like 17-year-old last week, and now this close to 40-year-old man is eating her out in an extreme close up. I was like, jeez Christ. But then he's like, oh, whatever, they're actors. But some people get really hung up on that, and I get it, but it's like, eh.
But it's the same thing as with the perfect example of that is Miley Cyrus.
Yeah.
Because she went from being the teenage pop star and trying to actually grow up on screen, to like, okay, I'm done. I'm not a teenager anymore. I'm gonna be a grown up, and she went all out. This is a more muted, okay way of doing that. I think that shouldn't be as problematic and controversial, but apparently it was.
Yeah, but then you have the fucking stans, and she's always gonna be the little Disney kid to them, and like, oh, what she's doing.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
Poor human hasn't done a Disney thing in like 4 years.
Nope. But she's only done like teenage roles though, so I can see the disconnect. And even I was like, oh, at first.
Like, to be honest, I still see Channing Tatum as someone who only does teenage roles.
No, well,
I do, because most of the movies I see him in is when he's like in high school or college.
I'm trying to remember what I saw him in last.
Same with what's his name? Cam I cannot say his last name.
Gigandet or Gigandet.
Whatever.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, that dude. Same. I mean, he was in ECA. That's not too old, and he played
It's almost
2
10
years
years
older.
old.
Is it? Okay, sorry, never mind.
Came out like 2012.
Still, like, he played a teenager back then. Well, he was a couple years older because he had been held back, but he was still like playing young. He wasn't adulting.
Yeah, I guess.
There's a lot of actors that you've seen them in too many roles as a young person, even though they're 20 plus.
Yeah.
That you're never gonna actually see them as adults until
true.
they're like
That's
40. True. They're for real. So it's always gonna be a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, not just in the movies.
But that didn't bother me.
No, not me neither. At first I was like, ooh, she's an adult. But then I kind of got over it.
The one thing I thought during that scene was that, man, he's not good at picking up signals. I was thinking?
Oh, yeah.
Probably because he's drunk and very euphoric. But still, yeah. It's like, yeah, she's not. Yes, euphoric. You know what? Yes. That's a proper use of that word. I'm gonna use it. But you're right. I gotta say, like, I wasn't planning on watching this until the day it came out, and then I read on Twitter some people who had managed to see it before, some film critics and like influencers, like, oh, it's gonna be so fun to hear all, now that Malcolm and Marie is out, it's gonna be fun to hear all the critics' reactions to the criticism of film criticism, basically. And I was like,
oh yeah,
oh wow, since I consider myself a semi-professional film critic.
I didn't even realize it was about that part until I was watching it, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Because it is like the third thing they talk about, that that Karen, I think he calls her Karen. I'm not sure.
Yes,
if that's
he calls her a Karen.
He calls her a Karen.
No, he calls her a Karen.
Yeah.
And
that's that's kind of interesting.
He goes on a long tirade about
twice.
Huh?
He does it twice.
Yes, twice, and about conflating politics with art, and how they read politics into everything, and every because he's a black director, every choice he makes is a politically charged choice, and I thought that speech was amazing.
Yes,
because I hate politics. I used to politic a few years ago, mostly as a meme, but I'm so tired of politics. So I always try to steer clear of that when I talk about movies. Of course, if a movie is about something political, you kind of have to mention it. But the movie he made, in this movie, the movie he made was about a recovering drug addict, or I guess trying to recover, trying in
Going,
recovery.
yeah, going through life as an addict and trying to get to recovery,
Yeah,
sort of.
and he cast a woman of color in the lead role,
Yeah,
and therefore it's about the struggle of female POCs in America. And he was like, "No, that's not what it's about at all. All these
yeah.
white
They said
people thinking they know what my movie's about." I was
something
like,
about Black
"Oh,
Lives versus the Institute or
yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah," and he
Psych wards.
and I think he mentions that, of course, that's part of it, because he recognizes the systemic
Yeah,
a problem, of course, but
but
that's not what it's about.
no, that's a byproduct.
Yes, exactly. So I
The
thought,
movie is about the character. In this case, I think she was called Iman or
is
Imam or something.
something like that, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't remember. Um, so I thought
Not-
the two times he really goes off on the Karen, as he calls her, the
yeah.
white woman from L.A. Times, I think it is. I thought they
Yes.
were great. um,
And the
um,
first thought I had when even like the first argument they have, this movie is very eloquent.
yes,
They use fancy words in a good way. Like it doesn't it could have been pretentious, but
no,
I don't think it was.
no, I think the dialogue is very natural.
Yeah,
Both how it's written, but especially how it's delivered.
performed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
by John David Washington and Zendaya. What is her? Does she have a last? I mean, she has a last name, but is it
I
public anywhere? Because I've never seen it.
no, I think her name is Zendaya.
But
That's
that's a
everything
stage
she
name,
goes
right?
by. Yeah, well, that's what she goes by.
All right.
I
Anyway.
think that's what she's like. They have to like register a name in the Screen Actors Guild or something.
Oh, okay.
I think that's what she's registered as.
Okay. Just sounds so.
So
It just sounded weird in my head because I had to say three names to say his name, and I could only say one name. So John David Washington and the Zendaya lady. I don't know.
yeah.
Anyway, okay, Zendaya.
Oh wait, no, wait. There it is. Zendaya Marie Stormer Coleman.
Okay, that was too many names. Zendaya.
Yeah, that's why she goes by Zendaya.
Okay.
Also, I mean, no one else is gonna be called that. So
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I think unless the stands start naming their children after her.
Yeah. Like there was a brief moment in our history where Khaleesi was one of the more
Yes.
popular names for babies, which
A couple of
quickly,
years ago, right?
yeah, quickly changed when season 8 came around. And we were like, oh no, I named my daughter after a psychopath.
And I actually think some people like went and registered new names
I mean,
for their children.
I've said this before, and it's a dead subject since that show isn't on anymore. But if you watched even the first season, you know she's. Why didn't people
Yeah.
pick up on that?
I mean, she has a reason as well. Yeah.
Of course. But I mean, it's just like, she's insane. As soon as as soon as the dragons are born, she's like, you know what? This is my fucking party now. Right?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Either way, naming your children after characters in a show is kind of odd.
yeah.
Find a new name.
Exactly. But back to
The movie.
back to the movie.
To
Back
Malcolm and
to
Marie.
Malcolm and Maria. Yeah, I think they both they delivered the dialogue very well. It was very well acted, and really that's all this movie has, other than some of the early camera work, which I thought was really great. When it was not one take, but it was almost one take. When she's in the kitchen or whatever you want to call it, because it's not really a kitchen, it's just like a.
It is. It's a kitchen with an open plan.
Okay, yeah. And she's cooking the macaroni and cheese, and he's walking back and forth in the living room or the den or whatever you want to call it.
Living
And the
room.
camera just keeps panning back and forth, or it's on a dolly, so it's dollying and back and forth. I thought it was awesome. I would have loved like the entire movie just following them from the outside, like a Super Mario game, like 2D, like it
Yeah,
is. Um, because I really liked how it captured both their um
their energies
their
almost.
energies in the same, yeah, instead of cutting back and forth, you saw both of them, but the camera is still moving.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh wow, this is really awesome. And then they cut to like a close up of John David Washington. I was like, oh, because after that the camera work is whatever. It's not really about the camera work,
No.
and there's not really any music in the movie other than what they play. Uh, uh
Yeah, and then
it's
towards the end you have some that's not played
there's
off,
yeah there's some. It's
but
called
most of it's
whatever it's called. The
scored.
music's coming from a stereo. A
Yeah.
stereo. Yeah.
Well, the phone technically.
But yeah, yeah. Um. So it's all about their performances and the dialogue.
Which normally I wouldn't like this kind of movie because it's too dramatic and almost could have been slow because
Yeah.
it's two people in a room basically
Yeah.
talking about their lives or well arguing. But the way they argue and what they argue about takes you through like an entire like well almost her entire life because they do talk about most of what she's done and well his life as well. They talk about a lot of stuff he's done in the
Mm,
past,
mm.
what brought them to this place in time.
Yeah. And so yeah, and the dialogue flows very naturally, except for it flows very naturally back and forth between them, um, until the movie felt kind of episodic because they had an argument about one thing, and then one of them kind of got the upper hand, so they left, or one of
They
them
kiss
left.
or- yeah, and then they'd like kiss and make up sort
Yeah,
of.
or one leaves, one goes into the bathroom, they kiss and make up. There's like a lull,
Yeah.
and then the next one starts. It's almost like, oh, okay, here we go.
That's
Which,
kind of what an argument in
it,
that case would be.
yes, it is realistic, but since it's made, um, because the dialogue is not written to be, I mean, it's written to be realistic, but it's also written to function as a movie. It has, especially how it's delivered, it has almost like a rhythm to it. Um, uh, it definitely feels like an and scene when you come to one of those endings of the discussion at that point. So when it happened for like the third time, I was like, this is starting to feel like a pattern. I don't know. It threw me off a little bit, but it didn't really matter that much because when you were actually in the conversations, it was so immersive and it affected you. So it didn't matter. It was just something I picked up on. If you want to nitpick a little bit.
I think that's what a lot of critics mentioned as well, that it felt very repetitive sort of, that they
Yeah.
would do one thing and then just get back to doing basically the same thing. They would argue and then Marie usually would get the upper hand in some way, trying to make Malcolm feel bad. He felt bad. He begged for her forgiveness, sort of. She forgave him almost, and then they started kissing, and then she was like, "But no," and then you start over,
Yeah.
which is
Sort of.
true. That is what happens technically, but again, it's what happens in that sort of situation. Of course, amplified compared to a normal couples situation,
Yeah.
because I mean, most normal couples aren't recovering drug addicts and movie directors.
Yeah. Exactly.
So their intensity is of course different because he's in well she also they're in movie businesses, both of them. She's
Mm.
trying to be an actress as well, and
Well,
she's
she's
come
kind
from
of
something
that.
very
That's also part of her her resentment a little bit that she kind of stopped. Um, that's what I think.
she
That
kind
was
of
the
gave
vibe
up
I
back.
got
Yeah.
when she didn't get the part for this movie. She kind of like, oh, whatever, and then kind of like supported him in the making of the movie instead.
No, I think she kind of quit before,
Okay.
but he was like, you should audition for this one at least, and I think she did, but she didn't perform well. She just kind of meh,
Yeah.
and that he was like, I can't give it to her.
Yeah.
I mean, personally, I would have seen that as maybe not a good thing to do, to have her be the lead role. Because it
No.
would have been, especially not in his first big film,
Yeah.
it would have been seen as he is giving his girlfriend the role, literally,
Mm,
not giving it to her because she's the best choice.
yeah. Um, and that's kind of what he says as well. She wasn't like she wasn't right for the part.
Yeah, even though it is the way she sees it based on her.
Yeah. But that's also what I thought was interesting. It was that none of them has like the upper hand because
No.
usually, and this is just the way it is. Usually in movies like this, the woman gets the upper hand. They're usually right in the end.
Yeah.
And the movie kind of starts out like that, like he was the one who did the wrong thing. He didn't thank her. And I was like, oh, it's one of those fucking movies. All right, okay. But then as the discussion continued, it was well written enough that
They
it
both end up being in the wrong.
yeah, it won me over. And I'm like, no, you're right. He is an asshole. For certain reasons. But then
Yeah.
he came back, and we were like, "Oh, she's kind of an asshole too."
Yeah.
And it was very well balanced like that. They're not trying to paint one as worse than the other. I mean, ultimately, his mistake is what sets the whole thing off, and he is the one who apologizes in the end. But it, I thought that was so. I thought that was so good about the ending when he actually. However, he does apologize over and over and over again, but he does. He doesn't. He doesn't. No. Yeah. He does, no. Sorry. I'm sorry. She doesn't want an apology. She wants a thank you.
She wants appreciate.
That
No, she wants to be. Well, yeah,
appreciated.
appreciated.
That's the whole thing. And
That's the whole thing,
yeah.
and I think that is a common theme in any argument between in a couple. Um, it's the small, because she's not really mad about the fact that, oh, she didn't get the part, or he didn't actually thank her just then and there. Like, okay, fine, people know that he's thankful for her, and he knows and she knows and everyone else knows that the movie wouldn't have been what it is if she wasn't in his life, like she
Mm,
mentions. But it's the, like I said in the beginning, it's the straw that breaks the camel's back, that thank you would have meant so much
yeah.
compared to all the other thank yous that he never gave her.
Yeah.
And
Um. But it's also.
it's a great thing, but it also, he gets the opportunity to go back to her and be like, but even if this is all of you, that it's also you're doing things wrong as well. It's not just me doing things wrong.
Yes. Exactly. And that's what I liked. I liked that they balanced it.
Yeah.
That it's not one or the other who's like the winner in the end. They both realize that they've done things wrong, and they have to work on their relationship.
Yeah. I mean, there
Um,
are certain things that both of them say that are very extremely hurtful and should not be in an argument, even in the heat of the moment kind of thing.
yeah.
Like
Wh-
when he mentions the cutting your wrist with a nail scissor or something. It's like, dude, no. you don't you don't resort to that one. Same as she kind of resorts to, like, calling him disgusting for having had sexual relations with Kiki or whatever her name was. Like, come on.
oh,
She,
the
yeah,
ex-girlfriend.
yeah. She's like, I'm. How can I ever have had unprotected sex with you, knowing that you've done that? It's like,
Yeah, and also
that's kind of mean.
like if there was one, yeah, like him bringing up all this stuff, that's you shouldn't do. You shouldn't hold that against someone. I can see why he did it, but
Yes, it's never cool.
it's not it's not really fair. I know
Yeah,
it isn't.
because that is such an
But
extreme.
yeah, but I mean, yeah.
But
It's
again,
also
you
like it is
understand when
something
someone.
she did, and she stole from him, and she was. I mean, he
Yeah.
brings that up as well. I'm just
Yes.
saying. But then she probably does the one thing that I couldn't really like excuse in any way when she threatens him with a knife and says, "Where are the pills?" And then like,
You do feel as that I was acting,
yeah,
right?
yeah, and she says, "And that's acting." I was like, but Yeah,
Yeah,
you can
that
say
is
that with
like
acting, but she still pulled a knife on him.
yeah, you should have like. You want to see
That's
acting?
going too
Then
far.
do
Yeah, exactly. That was like that was going too far.
yeah.
Anyway, but then I like that the movie, because when the movie's about to end, there's no way they can like reconcile. Like I guess we, I guess we both love each other. So haha, and kiss and make up. It
Because
ends
that's
the only
not
way
how
it
it
can
works.
end. Yeah, exactly. That's not how it works. But you think like, how's this gonna end? And the way it ends is the only way it could have ended. So I really like the ending as well. Like they both realize that they have a long way to go to have like a fully functioning relationship.
Because someone mentioned, I found one of the user reviews on Metacritic
Uh,
that uh, a low score, a 2.
okay.
They actually says that this movie needs a trigger warning
Okay.
for abusive relationships. It's like, no, what he's doing, because they're only saying that Malcolm is an abusive asshole, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
What is
they're
there?
only saying that like he's gaslighting, manipulating, love bombing, fake making, and
Which?
Marie takes it because she's used to his abuse.
Oh,
No,
come on. She does
no,
that as
that's not fair.
well.
Exactly, they both do that.
That's the thing.
They
They're both assholes. At certain
yeah,
points in the movie, they're both assholes.
this is it being in a what's it
Abusive
called?
relationship.
Yeah, abusive or toxic relationship. This is a
No.
relationship.
This
Shit
is
like this happens
yeah.
sometimes.
Like
If it's like this every day, which we don't know, I mean, we can almost guess that it's not.
it's not. It's obviously this is a special occasion, so to speak.
Yeah. And I mean,
Obviously.
even if they have arguments sometimes, they never get this bad.
No, people
'Cause
argue. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, I was gonna, yeah, exactly. It's not this bad every time.
no.
I
And
mean, and
even if
that,
it is from time to time, that's not an abusive relationship. That is a relationship.
yes, and
So I,
if you've been in even only one like semi long term relationship, you know that's what's gonna happen.
because people can't stand each other for more than like a few days.
Yeah,
You're
that's
gonna
just
get
that's just how it
angry with
is. I've told you the story, and this is not a relationship; it's just a friendship. But I've told you the story when I was working at a music festival, and I was
yeah.
living with one of my best friends, and that I've known since I was like 11. We were living in the same tent, and he hadn't done anything. He was just himself, the person I'd known for like 15 years at that point. And at the last day of the festival, I was seriously contemplating killing him over nothing. Not even like a joke. Like, oh, I want to. No, I was like, if he says one fucking word, I'm gonna stab him. Because this just happens.
Yeah, it's
That's
the
love.
small things. It is.
It
You start
is.
getting annoyed with how the person breathes,
Yeah.
drinks water,
It's like
doesn't leave the toilet seat
yes.
down
It's
or
like Bill
something.
Burr says in one of his specials. Like when he talks to his imaginary child, because at that point he didn't have a kid. He's like, I love your mother, but sometimes the way she eats a sandwich makes me want to smack her in the face. Because you don't do it, but it's just like, that's how it is.
Things will get annoying, and
Yeah.
you'll go days or weeks without even thinking about it. Then one day, nope, that breath was wrong. You're not
Yes.
breathing like a normal human or something.
And
It's just
it's all a buildup of small little grievances you have because when you live with a person, this is
because you don't want to.
that's
Yeah, that's life.
yeah, and then it's healthy to have a maybe somewhat heated discussion about it, but then you sort it out and it's done.
You have to ventilate, and then
Yeah,
you can go back to
and that's what
normal for a
this
while. And sure, you'll ventilate again, but whatever.
yeah, and
If it's too
that's what this
perfect,
movie's
then it's
about.
not honest.
Yeah,
Yes,
and that's what makes it
I really
so
like
yeah,
because of that, because it felt so natural and realistic.
yeah, and they sold it. They had great chemistry.
Yes.
The only thing I didn't like because it felt too much like um life imitating art imitating life was when they were like picking songs to kind of set the mood or to like relay a message. It was just like people only do that because they've seen people do that in movies. Like you want a soundtrack to your life, and that's cliche.
But well, yeah, it's cliche, but technically, it is what happens nowadays. It
Yeah,
is.
yeah, no, but that's what I mean, because
It's
we've
just that
we've seen
something that
movies where people argue and then a song comes on because it's a movie, and now people put on their own sad song at the end of their argument with their boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever, and I was just like, oh
well,
no.
I mean, I think if you ask like a 13-year-old if that's normal, they're gonna be like, yeah, that's normal.
Yeah,
It's just because
I've done
we're
it, but I'm just saying like it was like ugh, ugh. I
I
know it
think it's
it
just
is it is
something we
realistic.
in a movie. We haven't seen that too much in movies.
No, yeah, I
So
know,
that's
I know.
why it feels sort of forced.
Yeah, and also they did it like 3 or 4 times. And it's like, okay, we get it. You want to say something with your music. Ooh, you're so deep. Ooh, ooh.
The first time you can't really. He's just putting on a happy-go-lucky song that
Yeah,
he likes.
yeah.
He's
It's
high
most
on life.
obvious when she puts on the song. I don't know what this is called, but when thing, oh, you should leave him. Yeah, I know, but I don't want to because I love him.
Oh
Blah blah
yeah,
blah. And she's like,
when they're outside and she grabs his phone and she starts that
yeah,
song and
that
yeah,
one.
they go up him and she's like never or something.
Yeah, I was a little like, ugh. It was a little too on the nose.
A little, but it
But
kind of worked. She was trying to be like, "I'm sorry, I don't hate you." That
yeah,
was what she was trying to say, even though she didn't say the words, and I don't think he picked up on it.
no, no, yeah, and that's also like the song was maybe not the right choice because he only picked up on the negative aspects while she was
Yeah,
trying to use this as a redemptive thing.
yeah.
But I guess that was I
Again,
guess
just
that was
a
the
swing and a
point of
miss.
the movie
Yeah,
or that
supposed to be a swing
scene.
and a miss.
Yeah. Um. But yeah, those are like little nitpicks. The camera work, not that interesting. Um.
Have to be considering what kind of movie it is. Because when you have only two subjects and nothing else going on around them, you don't need to have much of a camera work,
No,
to be
no, no. I
honest.
know, but I mean, I was actually surprised. Like I said before, I was surprised over
Yeah,
the camera work, and then I was like, "Oh, okay, whatever. It's gonna be this, okay." And then that thing with the songs, and then I don't remember if they had a reason for it, but why was black and white?
no, I have no idea.
So,
I didn't find anything on that, to be
it
honest.
it didn't bother me, but it's you do think like, why is it black and white? Because usually it's a stylistic choice. So then I was trying like, so why did they pick it for this one? I don't know if it was
I didn't
just
check what was their budget?
I don't know. It was a smaller budgeted movie, and it was the first movie filmed during the Corona pandemic.
Yeah, it was what was it? It was written, directed, and completed during the
Yeah,
COVID-19
which
pandemic.
was like, ooh, once again, ooh, wow, ooh.
That means it was actually written, produced, and completed within like barely
A year.
a year.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, it's two actors, one night. In total, they have. She has technically three costume changes, and he has two, I think.
None.
So I
He
mean,
he takes off clothes.
well, yeah, but he
He
puts
takes
on
off his
some other
jacket.
shorts eventually.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So he has two costumes technically, and she has three, I think, or maybe two as well.
She
Only
takes the dress off, and then she has the tank top and underwear,
and then the
and then at
robe
the
she
end she
puts
has the
on
robe.
sometimes. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's about it.
that's about it. Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't take a lot, and I think they probably only needed a couple of months at tops to get all the scenes perfectly right.
Yeah. I'm
For
trying to
sure.
I'm trying to figure out though if they're just using that to like ooh sell it because I saw a movie the other day called Red Dot, which is
Huh?
a Swedish movie that came out just a few days ago. It's on Netflix. I think it's a Netflix like owned movie. They didn't produce it though. Um, and I mean, I'm trying to figure out if that because that also it's a very very small movie. It's basically like 4 or 5 people in it, and it all takes place like in a forest. So I'm wondering if that was filmed during 2020 as well. Maybe it wasn't written during 2020, but whatever. But I can't find anything. Anyway, I just I just
No, the
wanted
only
to
thing I find is that they have like a someone mentioned that it has like a 20-person crew and it's in 2 weeks or something.
for Red Dot.
No, no, Malcolm and Marie.
Oh, okay. Um,
There's no mention of like why they made it black and white.
okay, yeah. So
Maybe it's just because it doesn't take away from um the acting or the dialogue as it could have if you had that, because that house is amazing. The grounds outside were also amazing. That would have been
yeah,
even more beautiful if it was in color, probably. So maybe that could have distracted. I don't know.
I don't know. So like, I already, I was looking into it. Why it got bad reviews? Because yeah, some people on Twitter were saying it's gonna get bad reviews because it's criticizing critics. Um, and of course, then reading professional critics' opinions about the movie, they won't like outright say that's why. But I'm trying to like pick up on tone or something, but I can't. I don't see anything. But Variety gave it 9 out of 10. It says Levinson gives his stars roughly equal time, carefully modulating the sense of balance throughout, like we said. His
Yeah.
direction seldomly seems showy, and yet we sense the intention behind each cut as power and control shift throughout the movie. Yeah. And then some more middling, like IndieWire, 58 out of 100. Sam Levinson's. By the way, you know that's the same guy who made Euphoria, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Which is also adds to the whole thing. Like, he directed her as a teenager, like 3 weeks ago, and now there's this movie.
Yeah.
But anyway,
And he's also done.
he's not done much more.
No, not much.
I know the script is based on a argument he had with his wife
Ah,
for about the same reason, because he didn't thank her for something. I don't know what. Didn't look more into it than that though, but still. What did he say?
considering this is like his.
It's his first
I mean,
proper
he's
movie,
done.
isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. No, Assassination Nation.
Oh,
Assassination
right. He had
Nation.
some other stuff. Ugh, Assassination Nation. And
He wrote that one and directed it, and he did Another Happy Day. I'm not sure what that is.
right.
It's a comedy drama
Yeah.
from
2011.
2011.
Yeah. Anyway.
So no, he hasn't done a lot, and considering that, this is even more spectacular.
Yeah.
To be honest,
It's a pretty impressive work for someone who's pretty new to the whole movie thing.
yeah,
But here at least, Sam Levinson's exasperatingly gorgeous Malcolm and Marie is a lot like the two people who lend its title to their names. Confident and insecure in equal measure, stuffed to the gills with big ideas, but convinced of nothing beyond its own frenzied existence. And reverent of Hollywood's past at the same time it's trying to stake a new claim for its future. Whatever. But here,
yeah.
the worst it got. From from LA Times.
Oh no,
I think that was
is
the
her
one we
name
talked about in
Karen?
the movie.
Yeah, I think so
It is
too.
LA Times to talk about in the movie, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so. Here it's not a white lady though; it's Justin Chang.
Okay.
Zendaya has a way of rendering dialogue irrelevant. Ooh. She holds a close up here more skillfully and naturally than her co-star does. Ooh, okay. And her silence proves far more eloquent than his words. And those words turn out to be the undoing of Malcolm and Marie. Not just because there are so many of them, but because they feel like the building blocks of a meta movie parlor trick, an intellectual exercise that exists for no purpose other than its own justification.
Yeah, so they think it's pretentious.
They think it's pretentious. And I get it. It is a little pretentious
Pretentious,
at
but in a
points.
way that it kind of works out, because
Yeah,
considering the characters, yeah, they're gonna be pretentious assholes, even
yeah.
towards each others. So like, Come on.
And here, kind of similar here from the playlist. Sam Levinson's Malcolm and Maria is a purposely self-absorbed meta-narrative about a navel-gazing director at odds with his muse. An enticing
Yeah.
premise on paper that too often obscures its heart in lieu of tedious diatribes.
Yeah. I don't know where read it, but somewhere someone said that like this could have been a short movie. Like turn it off after the 20-minute mark and you'll be fine. It's like you've seen the entire movie.
I I
I
can
don't
agree
agree.
with that. It didn't feel too long, but I
No.
definitely see that this this could easily have been super boring because it's
It
just
could.
them talking. But I think they save it by them being um by the performances and the delivery of the dialogue. Um, and I think and I think that also it's like where the actors can sometimes feel a little too much. The dialogue kind of grounds them because it is very realistic at points. But then
Yeah.
when the dialogue gets like too pretentious, the actors like rein it in with their act. They complement each other so well that I think it works. And the only time I really didn't like like the movie is the scene where he is walking around outside and like talking to himself and like he's like doing moves like this. That was a
You know what
little
that
too
reminded me
much.
of?
No.
High School Musical 2.
Okay, I don't know. I didn't see that, but okay.
If you've seen that, there's a scene where what's Zac Efron's character's name? Troy. Troy. He's so angry. He goes out into the desert outside of the like resort they're working at, and he like dance punches the sky, sort of like Kevin Bacon in Footloose,
Yeah, I
but
was gonna
like
say, oh, it's like Footloose.
silly. But silly. This was kind of silly. This
Yeah,
didn't do the cool Footloose angry punches. No, it was the High School Musical silly dancing.
yeah, and it felt a little too. It felt a little too theatrical.
Yeah, because he has been sure he has all throughout the movie he shows a very physical way of reacting to things. He moves
Yes.
his arms a lot. He uses very physical expressions. But that one was too far.
Yeah,
Going
yeah.
out and angry punching the air is just
It didn't feel realistic.
no.
No.
Sure, you like want to punch something, but you don't actually go out and punch the air.
Yeah, I would have rather seen him than like punch a wall or something.
Yeah, or
That's more realistic.
yeah, throw something. Worst case scenario.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a rental, so maybe not, but
Oh,
he can pay for it.
I found some pictures from the making of the movie in color.
Ooh, weird.
Yeah.
What color is her dress? I want to know what color her dress.
It's basically the same. It's gray
Oh, okay.
with like a
Because I
light
wanted it to be
blue
like
shimmer.
golden.
No.
Oh, damn
No,
it.
then it would have been lighter in the movie.
Yeah, maybe.
I looking at these pictures though. I'll do this so you can see it as well. I'll put the for anyone listening to this, I'll put the pictures for free on the Patreon if you want to look at the pictures. um,
Or you
uh,
can just Google it, probably.
yeah, you can just Google it, of course. But I mean, um, I can kind of see now why they chose that. Maybe the black and white was an afterthought because, especially the first one where you see the one with the microphone in the middle,
Yeah.
everything is like shades of brown and beige. He's wearing
True.
black, she's wearing gray. The walls are beige, the cupboards are brown. Everything is like, oh,
But honestly, that could have worked.
ah. Maybe it's
It's
because I've already seen the movie in black and white, but looking at these pictures in color, no, no, I
it could.
didn't.
It just gives it though a slightly less dramatic sensation, I guess.
Yeah,
Because the both of the actors being black, which gives them this very warm toned skin, and then adding all these warm toned woods and stones, it
mm,
gives it a very, like you said, it's a very beige color scheme. It
yeah,
makes it almost as in that filter, like the sepia filter, whatever it's called, where everything just goes beige. basically, or like brownish.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, but that gives the movie more warmth and almost happiness, which doesn't fit.
No, it doesn't fit at all.
So in that sense, yes, the black and white works better because it adds the dramatic sadness almost to it.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah,
It
I
would have
think
been pretty in color as well, though.
I don't know. I don't know.
But I don't think it would have been portrayed in the same way or as well.
No, and the black and white definitely, like you said, it adds a baseline. Like black and white works. Like when they're happy, it feels like it's happy. When they're kind of sad, it feels very stark and ooh, everything's so dark. It works. If it was always that warm fuzzy like beige tone, it wouldn't have worked.
It wouldn't have portrayed the sadness
Yeah,
as
exactly.
just as sad. It would have been like, oh, so it's like any other romantic movie where they're slightly sad at the moment.
Yeah, yeah. Um. Well,
But I have to say that some of the what's it called, user reviews are just ridiculous.
oh, what?
You have
Read me
so,
some.
most of them being like just complaining that it's pretentious. Well, yeah, but come on, it's
It
about
is
a
a little
movie director.
pretentious, but
He's gonna be pretentious.
yeah.
Like that's the character. He is pretentious. So yeah, the movie's gonna feel a bit pretentious. A lot of them are just saying that it's boring, like ugh, nothing happens. I kind of zoned out. I didn't want to watch it. Um, but then one that just it's no offense to this person. I don't know who they are. There's a very weird name on the Metacritic.
Yeah.
Um, it's just saying that this movie is just gross and just plain awful. Plus, can we stop casting that new terrible MJ in everything? Jeez, she can't even act. Overall, boring time. Better spent watching something else.
I would have agreed with that until I saw this one because I think she acted her heart out in this one. I think she was
Yes,
really good.
I think
Um,
that person just has something against Zendaya.
yeah, and I'm just looking at Twitter, and a lot of people are uh like here someone says 50 minutes in and they're still arguing with a huh meme.
That's the
That's
point.
the point. You never been in an argument? Whatever.
A lot of people are just. I don't think they've like. Either they're too young, or just like you said, they've never been in a proper relationship and therefore never in this kind of argument. That they don't see how this is something that
It happens.
it happens. Um, I think they're just like. I don't know. They just don't know enough to even be watching this movie. I guess that sounds a bit harsh, maybe, but
Maybe.
it's just saying that it's like it feels like they gave a film student too much money. Like no, because it
Uh,
doesn't even look like it has too much money. It looks like something.
well, like I can see there are I can see things I can see all these arguments. Like it is a very film studenty thing to do to have it all set in
Sure.
one house during one night and it's all one long conversation. But
But
the difference is what the difference is between this and a film student movie is that he pulls it off.
you do have to take into consideration that this is done during a global pandemic. There are restrictions. You can't do everything,
No,
and it's
no,
a great movie to actually try and shoot in this kind of situation.
but I don't think I haven't found anything. I don't think he would have done it very differently.
Well, no, probably not. Like he just, I think he more or less took the what's it called? Just like it's the perfect time to do this one that I've had on my table for years. Maybe
Yeah.
took advantage of the situation, I guess.
Yeah, I think the only difference with the movie would have been behind the scenes, like more people, maybe a couple of more sets. They probably have like the whole like oh we shouldn't have this argument tonight. That would probably have happened like in a limousine or something.
Maybe they could have had more of the party
Yeah,
before. Not just like at the party, but at least like them leaving the party or something.
yeah, yeah.
We're cutting to scenes where you can see how um I don't remember, Taylor was the name of the actress that got the part in the
I
movie,
think so. Yeah.
where Taylor and Marie had like, because they obviously had some sort of disagreement,
Yeah. But then,
silent one, but still.
yeah. But then that would take away from the argument, and
Yes, it would have
it
made
would
it a completely different movie.
yeah, and it would have uh given the audience a chance to pick sides before the argument starts.
Yeah,
I think that also helps with balancing the power struggle between them. That the audience, we're only there for this argument. It's like a jury. Like, we can only hear their arguments. We don't know anything really about them before. We only find out about them during this 1.5 hour discuss. I mean, it goes on for long in the movie, but whatever.
does it though? I mean,
I
the
think
cuts
so.
are. It doesn't feel like it takes much more because it is still okay. Yeah, maybe before the 1 hour mark, he mentioned that it's 2 o'clock at night, and she mentions in the beginning of the movie that it's 1 o'clock at night. But like, it doesn't take place over the course of like a day. It's
No, no,
literally
no, no.
just a couple of hours, or
Yes,
maybe
yes,
3.
yes. And I think that is actually a good thing that we don't get to know the characters before this.
Yeah.
It is an exercise um in no, I was gonna say, and that was wrong. An exercise, It's like a listening exercise, because we have to take in all the information they're giving us in order to actually build our own opinion on the characters. And at least in my case, and I guess in your case as well, it was well written enough that we didn't pick sides. Uh,
That was the point, I think.
yeah, yeah,
And
exactly.
it's
That is the
it's a,
point.
and it's well done. It's not. I found another one. User review. That's just this person probably hasn't seen a lot of movies. It's saying they're saying that this tries so hard to be a deep artistic character piece, but it is as shallow as a $10 inflatable kiddie pool. Trying to be
No.
pretentious. Such incredibly poor writing. I actually feel bad for the writer because the script makes it crystal clear that there is no authenticity or ability behind the gloss. What? Did
Well,
you
I
miss
don't know.
the entire premise of the
Yeah,
movie?
and there, that's why I don't like to read. Call me elitist, but that's why I don't read user reviews,
Yeah.
because we don't get any justification for this person not liking the dialogue. Like, why?
Well, the
Elaborate.
writer director realized no. I think their English isn't the best. They're riding on the stylized camera work, pretty people, and cliche devices to hide a clear lack of talent to pull off a drama that doesn't rely on the stylistic crutches Levinson has relied upon for past success. What?
I don't know.
I'm still not getting like. What do you mean there's no substance?
It's
What do you mean there's lack of talent? And the camera work was all right, apparently.
well, that's something
No,
I
that
don't
was
really
the
agree
one
with.
thing that was
That was
not spectacular.
whatever.
That was
Yeah,
just a standstill camera
yeah.
on a few different spots in the same house. The camera work was nothing compared to the writing and the acting and the directing and everything else, basically. Except for that first scene that you mentioned where they sway the camera back and
Yeah,
forth.
yeah.
Which
Well,
sure they could have used more of that, but yeah. Let's like you said, we shouldn't probably give too much to user reviews because even though I would technically qualify as a user review, probably you too, but you've at least become a bit more established than I have.
no, but it's not just it's not just that, oh, it's an establishment that justifies
Only you've
my
studied
opinion.
movies.
It,
I haven't.
no, it's not even that. It's the fact that I don't want to say that but someone like me takes the time to explain their opinion, not just say, "Oh, it sucked." Why? Tell me why it sucked. It was bad. Why?
Yeah, and not just saying
Elaborate.
that
Oh, it's bad
there's no
dialogue.
authenticity.
What?
No.
Yeah. How does it lack? Not just it is this. Tell me why and how. That's really the
Yeah.
only thing
Why
I
would
have.
you? Yeah.
That's the
Like,
only
how would
thing
you?
you have to do if you wanna like develop your
Critiquing.
critiquing. I don't want to say critical think. Well, it's partly part
It
of
is
critical
critical
thinking as
thinking.
well. You just gotta go. You gotta go just one step further. Instead of saying this is bad or this is good, you gotta
You
say
have to say why.
this
Explain
is bad
yourself.
because, or this is good
Yeah.
because. That's all you need to do. Then that will start the whole journey
To
on.
get the ball
Yeah,
rolling.
yeah.
I
Anyway,
mean, that's what you're taught in school. At least I was.
yeah, yeah,
In Swedish class, we were taught how to think critically and explain ourselves.
yeah.
Well,
Um, yeah. To wrap it up, then I guess. Ultimately, like, oh well, yeah. I could ask you this:
yes.
Do you think you would have watched this movie if there wasn't like a buzz around it because of ooh, it was made during the pandemic, or ooh, critics are gonna hate this movie? Do you think they
I
kind
didn't
of
hear
had to
those.
hype? Huh?
I didn't hear those hypes
Oh,
or
okay.
those buzzes. I heard the buzz of like Zendaya and Washington,
Oh, okay.
because he's the guy from Tenet, right?
Yes, he was in Tenet, and I don't know if you've seen Black Klansman.
No, I haven't seen that
Ah,
yet.
that's a good movie. And something
I
else.
think the
I don't know.
first one I saw with him in that I noticed that is him was Tenet.
Yeah, yeah. I think I've only seen him in Black Klansman, Tenet, and this.
Yeah, and I mean, he was great in Tenet. I
Great
know
Tenet.
Zendaya is an okay. I've seen less of her work and more of her online personality, but she seems interesting enough that I want to see if she can actually act. Which,
Ah, okay.
yes, in this one she can.
Yeah. Yeah, and I can say that I would not have watched this, if it wasn't if it wasn't for those tweets like, "Ooh, critics are gonna hate it," because I saw the trailer, and yeah, I that wasn't for me. It wasn't a good trailer because it made it look like pretentious trash.
I think I only saw like the short promos that are like 10 seconds long and mainly pictures.
Yeah, yeah,
I've
I
only
saw
seen that
something like
bit.
that as well. I'm not sure. I saw
I haven't
something.
seen the proper trailer. I usually avoid trailers in
Yeah.
general because I don't think that trailers nowadays never do movies justice,
No,
or they spoil them.
they're too manipulative.
Yes,
Yeah.
or they just spoil everything.
Yeah. Well, trailers have always done that. that
True, but
that was
extra,
almost worse, like in the 80s.
I guess. But I wasn't around in the 80s,
That's
so
true. I barely was so. Um, but yeah, so it was very fortunate that I actually just sat down and watched it because
my list as soon as it, uh, yeah, I added it to my list as soon as it came out on Netflix. So I was planning on watching it either way.
yeah, yeah.
And this is a movie that I will probably not watch again on my own, just
No,
for entertainment, but I
no.
will. I think we said that with the last movie as well. I will watch it together with other people just to have them see.
Yeah. I think in my friendship circle or whatever you call it, I
Yeah.
I don't think there's a lot of people that would appreciate. Not like, oh my god, it sucks, but it's just not that kind of movie we watch.
No.
Um,
No, because you that's yeah.
maybe
That's
mom,
probably yeah, I think mom,
maybe.
unless maybe the English is too complicated.
No, man, come on, there's subtitles for that.
Yeah, I guess. But
Um,
I didn't watch it with subtitles.
me neither. Um, but at the same time, I think there might be the euphoria disconnect for me would be with mom for this because these are younger people having an argument, and
Maybe.
maybe she'd be like, "Oh, come on, you young people." I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe she could just recognize that. Oh, that's what I did when I was young.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? Dad wouldn't like it.
No,
No.
he wouldn't. He would think it's too dark and dramatic, probably.
Or just like people on Twitter, it's too long.
Yeah, that too.
And
It's not that long though.
What's that? Like an hour 40, hour 30?
Hour 46 with sub credits.
Oh yes, okay. I gotta say one more. There's a very very big nitpick, but still,
What?
they had all the credits in the beginning of the movie, like an old time type of movie where they had all the credits in the beginning in like static like blocks of text. And I was like, okay, that's cool. So now we can just get into the story, and the movie will just end when it ends. But then they had rolling credits in the end. And I looked. It's not like we didn't have all in the no. You had all the crew, all the cast in the beginning. Why show it again in the end?
They literally copied the text cards from the start
Yeah.
and put it over a black screen this time in the end.
Why?
Instead of over the exterior.
I mean, it doesn't affect the movie, but why? It's so dumb.
Yeah, that was just unnecessary. I usually, I mean, maybe because people mostly turn off the movie when the credits start rolling. So they were like, okay, we're going to show our appreciation in the beginning, so you can't skip it.
Yeah, but then why have them in the end?
I don't know.
Because imagine if the movie just ended. When you see them standing out there, you see them through the bedroom window. He walks out where she's standing, and he's like, oh. Because they're there, at least they're there together. And it was just cut to black and no more.
Yeah, that would have been more impactful.
And it would have worked because they already had the credits in the beginning. That was stupid.
Yeah, and I mean, you don't have to have that much credit at all when there's like total of 50 people working on the movie.
Oh, yeah, but
that's one title card and you're done.
Yeah, that's why they had it in the beginning. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I said, that doesn't affect the movie, but it's just a stupid thing to do.
It's just
to have the credits 2 times.
Silly, unnecessary thing.
Anyway. Ending it on a bad note.
No, not really.
Not kidding.
We're ending it at the end of the movie, though. I mean, we've gone full circle.
That's true. So, thank you to everyone watching here during the live stream. And thank you to everyone listening. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back next week with a movie of my choice. I'm not sure yet. I have some stuff cooking, but I'm not sure yet. And of course, if you want to, like we said in the beginning, if you want to support this show and you want to get the exclusive episodes of this podcast, support us on Patreon. Or if you just want to, if you want to show your support in other ways, give us a 5-star rating, follow us and like us on Spotify,
share and all that stuff.
Share this around.
And also,
subscribe to
new
YouTube.
feature. We have created a Instagram.
Yes.
For this. So
Rebecca
look us up as the Spoilercast. I think on both of them, right?
Yes, Twitter it's _Spoilercast, and on Instagram it's just the Spoilercast, right?
Yeah.
One word. And there we'll post when we know what movies we're gonna talk about. We'll post it there. You can leave comments and stuff on there. Maybe we'll post some behind the scenes stuff for some reason. Who knows?
We don't have a lot of behind the scenes.
We don't have a lot of behind the scenes stuff
on YouTube, but
but it's on there. And like I said, subscribe to us on YouTube. Check us out on Patreon for the exclusive episodes. And that's it.
I think that's it. So
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next one. But until then, have a good one.
Bye.
Bye-bye.